morning, everybody. Happy Friday. That's right. Today is Friday, January 2nd. I'm Aaron Phillips, sitting here in a very wet, chilly Las Vegas. It's not sunshiny. Matter of fact, I just saw the weather. I was showing John, our producer back here. Snow is expected to be seen here in the valley over the next couple of days. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Of course, the lady with the astonished look of that news is, of course, my dear friend and host and main person behind this show. I will just simply call her Doc Val. How are you, my friend?
Aloha. And it's looking pretty much the same out here. We got over 3 inches of rain in the past couple of days, and it was a very soggy AT&T out on the Monterey Peninsula.
Oh, my gosh. Well, yeah. My wife is on her way up to Northern Cali in the mountains somewhere with her fifth grade classes, students who were able to go on a class trip. So she would pack the suitcase that if we were taking it on an airplane, Val, we'd have to break it up into 3 suitcases because it definitely would have been over 50 pounds. I'm like, what did you pack in? You're going to be here for 2 days.
She could pack another 5th grader.
Yeah, yeah, could be, for all I know. But she said she packed in layers. I'm like, I didn't think you had that many layers. We've been married over 35 years. I got 1 layer. What are you doing multiple layers? Even my stuff was missing. She took my stuff. Like, what is this? Anyway, hey, everybody, thank you for watching us. As always, we got a great show coming up. Thank you for watching us on Facebook, YouTube, our pages, the WWDBTV channel pages.com website, you name it, we got it. And, of course, in about 7 days or so, check us out on Roku. Of course, if you have a Roku, you got to download the WWDBTV. In case you're wondering what WWDBTV stands for, Worldwide Digital Broadcasting. See that? I learned just something today. WWDBTV, check it out on Roku, download the channel. And, of course, you'll have a plethora of choices to watch, the plethora of options of all the different plethora of episodes of all the shows, including this one there. John is raising his hand, sir.
In honor of Friday?
Friday, yes.
I have a blonde joke.
You want to do that now, or do you want to save it for later?
No,
do it now.
I want to do it now because I don't want to.
Yeah, don't get it right. I'll set too low an expectation, so don't worry about it.
You know why blondes have TGIF on the inside of their shoes?
Oh, boy. Governor Val, you want to take a shot at that one?
I can't touch that one with a 10-foot pole.
Okay. Tell me, why does a blonde have TGIF in her shoes?
Toes go in first.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. See, now everybody's going to look forward.
We can just close out the show right there.
Hey, thanks for coming.
Bye.
Well, see, he has set a low standard, which means my dad jokes at the end of the day will be absolutely perfect.
It can only go up.
It can only go up from here. Toes go in first. Wow, I like that one.
Wow.
Send your emails to John at
WWDBTV.
Exactly. All right. Yes, I'm.
Send you the name of the blonde that told me that.
Oh my gosh. Are you? I just want to confirm there, Mr. Producer, that we are live and running on the Kiwanis Connects Facebook page.
I don't know.
Only because.
Sure, like it.
All right, I hope so, because Douglas Chadwick is asking us if we're actually on the air, and yeah, we are.
Yeah.
I don't know why he doesn't see it on Facebook, but anyway.
What do you think this is? Thursday?
Oh God, we're gonna go back to John's calendar. All right, I just told him to refresh it. Okay.
Well, I'm struggling too.
What's that, Val?
I'm struggling too. This is probably going to be one of the most bizarre shows that we do.
And I loved being the captain of Bizarre, let me tell you. We're going to kind of be all over the place today, aren't we?
We really are. February is one of those months that when it kicks in, there are so many different emotions and things that kick in for me. And I was just watching the news last night, and I originally had planned on this show focusing on the month of love, the mid-year conference, and a little talking about diversity. And so, like John Brummer says, see you there, because I'm going to be racing off late this afternoon to get to Visalia. But more importantly, it's a tough month for a lot of people. And I'm not sure how many people who are watching actually saw the news last night where Elmo, the little red guy.
Sure. Tickle Me Elmo.
Tickle Me Elmo was saying, He just wanted to know, how are you doing? Because he's been really worried about people. There's so much bad stuff on the news, and he has so many friends, and he says he has all these little kids that are his friends, and he was thinking maybe one or two people might respond.
Right.
Aaron, do you have an idea of how many people actually viewed his video?
I'm going to say a plethora.
It was a plethora, over 1.4 million views in half a day.
Wow.
And the part that just smacked me hard to really think about what we do is 42,000 people actually responded. Most of those responses were adults that said, no, it was 42,000 people that said, I'm not okay.
Holy cow.
I'm not okay. This is why, or I'm not okay. And they attached a video of themselves saying, that they try to put on a good face, but they're not okay. When you think about, Governor Carroll's whole campaign about mental health, it's so important.
It's interesting that you bring that up. Where is that video? Where was that posted on, like, TikTok?
It was on NBC.
Okay, but I'm just wondering where Elmo posted the original video before NBC picked it up. That's where it's residing.
I don't know, so I'll take a look and do some homework, and maybe we can chat about that.
Yeah, it was just a question of curiosity. It's interesting because at my school, for 3 weeks, we have a school-ending program called Explo, short for Explorations. And teachers can put their own little class together, like chess and origami and all that sort of stuff. Well, I just did a class on broadcasting. So we put together a mock newscast around our principal. And so the story is going to have a moral ending. Nobody can find him. And there's evidence, and there's this, and there's that. Now, he's from Hawaii, which means he carries a ukulele and a guitar with him all the time around school. And so we did this newscast, and we finally find him in the broadcast studio at the school by himself playing his guitar. And the moral of the story is that he goes there for a couple of minutes every day because he relaxes while he plays guitar to chill out and refresh and recharge his brain.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's not overwhelmed, which is very easy to do in a regular day, regardless of what we do. So it's interesting. 42,000 people responded that they're not okay.
Mm-hmm. And you got to think about, some of those could be our family members. We don't know because everybody on Facebook, puts on that amazing happy face.
Yep.
And usually we only see the best and brightest and the cutest dog pictures. Or we see the opposite extreme of political yelling and screaming, but there's so few little real.
Yep.
What I think about. And I even hesitate, because this is a major anniversary month for me because my youngest brother was killed the very end of January when he was 15 and a half. And the very first week of February is a reminder of all those things a family does.
Sure.
So, when you talk about permission mission,
yep.
During that time, when this happened, it was almost 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It still brings back all those feelings and things. And we are going into this upbeat love time. And so I always fake it till it's real.
Yeah.
And I feel badly now because I realize there may be people out there that they're watching me and I'm not modeling it's okay to share some of that stuff.
Well, then if that's the case, that they get upset that you share these things, these feelings, these emotions, then I would just simply say that that's a them problem and not a you problem. We are human. And yes, we do certain things in our life, like what I do for a living, what we are doing here every Friday, that, people don't know, they want to be entertained. They want to hear information. But the reality is that when we talk about certain topics in a strange, far-reaching way, that is entertainment from the standpoint of being educational and letting people know that you, me, and anybody else that is in another walk of life, we are all human. We all have emotions. Mr. Spock is not a real person that walks around this earth with no emotion. But I feel the same way, because there are sometimes that things goes on in my mind that I would just love to put out on Facebook just as a thought-provoking thought. And I do hesitate because as a public figure, like you just said, you got to always be smiling, So I'm going to let you in on a little backstory. So that'll kind of give people an idea. When Mark McDonald's year was ending and we were up in Northern Cali for that year's convention when I was being promoted to immediate past lieutenant governor, I was dealing still at the time with the passing of my mother. This November will be 24 years. So I'm sitting at the airport up in Cali waiting to fly home, and I pick up a USA Today newspaper. And there was about a little square with about 4 paragraphs in it about Terry Bradshaw, former football player, former quarterback of the Steelers, now on Fox Sports. And 2.5 million views, 205, I'm sorry. Wow. And it's on X for that. Wow. Thank you, Douglas. And I've been dealing with my emotions. And I went and I saw a psychologist because I'd never dealt with the loss of, I lost my grandparents, but this is my mother. So I saw this article, and Terry Bradshaw, for those who may or may not know, he's been married a few times, depression and all that sort of stuff. But when you see him on set and the red light goes on the camera, you would think nothing bothers him. And so the host of that show that you see on Fox, he was being interviewed. And he told me, he says, look, when that red light goes off, Terry Bradshaw walks off the set, goes into his dressing room, and he just is depressed. He doesn't come out, he doesn't socialize. And then the rest of the article was about Bradshaw, how he sought additional help by, and I don't know if people believe in this, but he got medication to help stabilize his moods and everything else because of depression. Well, after a year of visiting my psychologist, realizing that it wasn't going to work forever, I read that article, and I honestly said, well, if Terry Bradshaw is man enough to say he needs more help, and it's publicly known, I said, who am I to think I'm any better than Terry Bradshaw? And I came home from that trip. I spoke to my wife about what I had read, what my position was. And I then went to a psychiatrist. And hey, since then, I have medication that I'm using to keep me balanced because of stress, because of still, like you said, permission, mission, still deal with the grief when somebody passes. We have to deal with the new normal. It's not normal anymore, but it's a new normal when that person is no longer part of our life. And sometimes people don't know how to handle it. And I think now I'm wondering how many people now of the 200 million plus that responded to that, if that 42,000 number of people who said, yeah, I'm not well, I would think should have increased a little bit because more people perhaps seeing others saying, yeah, I'm not right. Perhaps that they reached out. And I hope there's a resource. There's depression hotlines. There's all these other hotlines for support, because we know ultimately if depression cannot be controlled and handled, usually a lot of people unfortunately take that next step and they get out of life because they don't know how else to handle depression.
And I know that, one of my favorite people is Hoda Copy. And so one of the things that she made sure of in the background is that there are resources that are out there and that there's conversations. So I think there's a slew of people that are actually responding, which is pretty amazing. Hi, Kathy out there in Pennsylvania.
I was going to say, she's in Erie. I went to Penn State. I went to Barron College up in Erie my first 2 years.
Well, my friend Kathy is one of our international trustees, and so she's always popping in, and it's amazing. And so hi, and let's get a little shiny moment. And so as we're talking about this topic, it's like I really want for us to be real, and that's one of the things I look forward to about going to our mid-year conference, is because one of the highlights of the mid-year conference is actually talking about it's okay to be you, which is our Governor Carroll's family focus. And so, and I think it's not just for kiddos, that it's okay to be you and be an individual, but it's also okay as an adult to make a transition. And oftentimes, I think people drop out of the organization as they begin to change, or they begin to want to re-identify who they are and why they are doing what they do, or they take a time out. And so there are a lot of Kiwanians that probably are ready to come back, knowing that they've gone through their processes and they've made those changes, and it's safe to come back.
Right.
And I always go to mid-year looking forward to seeing people, and it's getting those hugs, because that's how I re-energize my batteries.
Mm-hmm.
I will stop a presentation in a heartbeat when someone runs up to the stage or runs up to me and says, "Can I just hug you?" I have done that before. I was on a stage in the middle of a football arena, and some little kid came running up the stairs, and he just grabbed me, and I stopped what I was doing, because that touch, that human interaction for me is my language of love.
Absolutely.
And it does something for my head.
Well, isn't there scientific research about what a hug does for someone's body and neurons and all this other stuff, that's why during the pandemic, the yearning to be with people and the human touch and everything else was so important, that we didn't have that for 15 months. And that human contact is important for us in body as well as spirit, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, there's no shame in that.
No.
And I think for one of the things, I went to a meeting in San Luis Obispo this past week, and I saw someone, and she's normally really bubbly and exciting and upbeat. And she seemed really timid and weary. And I'm not going to call her out, because I don't want to do that. But what I wanted to share about the story is that she felt that maybe people wouldn't recognize her, or wouldn't see her, because she's been gone so long. And so she was being observing to go, okay, I really missed my Kiwanians, but I'm not sure they missed me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
And so my thing was, I had just launched myself.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say launch, I just mean I go into the full body hug. And maybe that's the whole don't touch, don't whatever rules, they can go out the window for me, because when I see somebody I haven't seen in a long time, I'm so excited.
Sure.
It doesn't matter. It's important.
We're going to go to break here in a second. I have friends from back east that obviously I haven't seen regularly in 27 years since I've been out here, but you can go months and months, maybe even a year without talking to the person, Facebook connection and commenting aside. But when you pick up the phone or you're in live with that person, like you just said, you haven't seen, it's like time never passed. Mm-hmm. It's like, you just picked up where you left off. To me, that's probably the best connection that you can have as a human being, when you have those relationships that no matter what, time, distance, life, whatever, and when you see each other for the first time in whatever time span you have, and you get back together, it's like you never lost time. All right, we'd love your comments on this stuff. You can call us at 702-992-3207. Put your comments in the chat room, which many of you have been, not only here, but on YouTube. John can pull those in for us to see as well. By the way, I want to thank Val for giving us a great segue to Permission Mission earlier on in this segment. That'll be coming up at 11 o'clock, where Mary McElhatton gives you the permission. We have the permission to talk about mortality and how we should handle grief. And it's okay, just as we're talking about, to do that. You're watching Kiwanis Connects. More to come right after this.
Are you looking for someone to provide training to your staff? Do you need a motivational speaker about how to handle change? Do you have an upcoming event that needs an MC to handle those responsibilities? Well, look no further than longtime Las Vegas radio personality, Aaron Phillips. I am local to Las Vegas, and I can blend my talents with any audience. For more information, please visit www.aaronphillipsvoice.com and book me for your next event or training needs. National is a global community of clubs, members, and partners dedicated to improving the lives of children one community at a time. Today, we stand with more than 550,000 members, from K-Kids to Key Club to Kiwanis, for all ages in over 80 countries around the world. Each community has different needs, and Kiwanis empowers members to pursue creative ways to serve the needs of children, such as fighting hunger, improving literacy, and offering guidance. Kiwanis clubs host nearly 150,000 service projects each year. For more information, visit www.kiwanis.org.
All right, welcome back to the Dr. Phil Show. And Val, no, sorry, wrong show. Where's John D. Domenico? Yeah, really, have him come in as Dr. Phil. Great stuff. Listen, we're going to talk about some of what's going to go on this weekend at mid-year, of course. But I think it's a great topic that we open up here. And I think, Val, you and I have nothing else showing other people. Here we are in front of gazillions of people on the internet television, and all the replays and YouTube and everything else, sharing that it's okay to feel what we feel. John Stiles, you're being recognized, sir.
So I had this thought while you guys were talking earlier.
Batten down the hatches.
Yeah. So as an educator.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's important that young people or kids, they have a concept. I mean, we all did growing up. Our parents could do no wrong. They're perfect. And I think it's important that the kids see that, hey, sometimes we're not. Sometimes we need a little help. Sometimes we need a hug, or, we just need a break or something. Because I think that will help them deal with, situations as they get older. And we try to protect them from those kind of things, which I think is a serious mistake. Yeah.
The best hugs I get at my school is when the first graders come running up to me and they really give you a hug. It's not one of these like little shoulder things.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that, John, because back in September, and John, you know this, at my school, there was a shooting across the street from my school. Right around lunchtime, as kids were starting to come out at recess, and of course, they all got ushered back in. As I was walking out of my room to go get my next group of kids for tutoring is when everything went down. And I'm probably the only person at that school that saw as much of the incident as I did, because then we immediately went into a hard lockdown. And for those who don't know what that means, lights are turned off, doors are locked, there's no movement, nothing until we get the clearance. And I have to admit, I know I was in shock from what was going on, because it's the first time that I had experienced anything like this. And, I'm in a classroom 35 years, you take drills and fire drills and you do all the drilling just in case. And this is really the first time that I had to cope with being a real incident and seeing as much as I did. And it was scary, where I know I was numb the rest of the day, that one of the teachers there, who knows me very well, when I was interacting with her afterwards, she knew I was not right. She went to the AP's office, filled her in. We happened to have met coincidentally in the hallway just a few minutes after that. And she told me if I wanted to go home, it's okay, because she knew I was in shock. I said, no, I'm here for the rest of the day. It was like 1 PM, because the kids need normalcy at this point. I don't not want to be around and wonder, where is my teacher? Where's my tutor? Where is Mr. Phillips and all that stuff? I know I suffered a very quick case of PTSD, because the next couple of days we went out for dinner, my wife and I with some friends, and we went to an outdoor ice cream shop. And so you get your ice cream and you sit outside in this patio. Well, the drive-through was right around the patio. And this truck was there ordering. The truck backfired. And my wife looked at me, and I was obviously as white as a ghost because of the instinct. And kids the next day that I picked up, they said to me, hey, were you scared about what happened? And I said, were you? And they said, yeah, they were very scared. I said, well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I was scared probably as much as you were, sitting in my room, all dark. I was texting my wife, letting her know, in case you hear what happens, I'm okay, blah, blah, blah. That connection with kids, and that's what I love what I do when I work with my kids, is building those relationships that they know it's okay. When I see a kid walking around the school who maybe has a history of issues at home with parents, or just not themselves, the first thing I tell them, it's okay. I am here if you need to talk. I get it. I've been there. Just know you have somebody here at school that, if all else fails, at any time. You just come knocking on my door and you come in, whatever it is, we'll talk, we'll chat, and my time is your time. I agree with John. I think that's very important to build that foundation moving forward. This message was approved by Governor. Oh, sorry, I got off on a tangent there. Anyway, sorry.
I love your tangent. And the reason why I love your tangent is because we get to deal with some of the most amazing kiddos in our K Kids, our Builders Club, our Key Club, Kiwanis, Circle K. They are amazing. They are leaders within their own organizations. And that's one of the things I get reminded of every time I attend a mid-year. I'm going to keep dropping that in there because somebody's going to say, you never talked about mid-year. How I'm talking about mid-year is this generation of students that we're dealing with right now, during a very formative time in their lives, were isolated and they didn't have that contact. And so I think we need to relearn how to show the vulnerability and show the caring and the kindness for them as leaders, because they think that they can't share. And it goes back to our last show where they're talking on games to people and sharing more than they should with people that they don't actually see or know. And so being able to be those adults and Kiwanians in their lives and helping them is really huge. And so if you get a chance at one of the mid-years, either Mid-Year North, which is going to be in Visalia tomorrow, or Mid-Year South, which is in Riverside on the 23rd of March, I'd love for you to connect up with Delia Guzman or Neil Carvix, I don't always say that right, or go to the DEI table to talk about the kiddos that were affected the most and that are now in our key clubs and our builders clubs. And those are LGBTQ plus kids. Those were the kids that were the most isolated and the most vulnerable. And they're still being told to not be a sissy or to not be a whatever. And they're going through some bullying that is just out of this world. And so sometimes their involvement in Key Club or Builders Club is their outlet.
For sure.
And you know, we're going to go through youth protection guideline training tomorrow. And in youth protection guideline training, they talk about not touching and not initiating contact with students. But the thing is that there has to be something safe that if a student initiates a hug, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always, Mama Flo is probably watching this. And
Hi, Mama Flo.
You know, I always tell Mama Flo, be careful when you launch at people, because Mama Flo will actually launch and give a hug to someone at Jack in the Box. I'm telling you, it's just her nature.
Sure.
But it's understanding that sometimes I think she may perceive that that's exactly what they need.
Right. You know, it's again, you just brought it up. Our school's under this. Our district is under that same guideline. No contact.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not even a pat on the back to congratulate somebody or tap on the shoulder. Great job. I'm like you. I'm a Cancer. I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and when I see something and I want to give somebody a hug or tell them, you know, put my hand on their arm, it's okay, you're fine. It's very difficult. And like you said, when the kids come running up to you to want to give you a hug, how do you say, stop, you can't touch me? It's like a MC Hammer song. You can't touch this. You know, I mean, yeah, we were talking about balloon pants last night, weren't we, John, on the round table? But it's very difficult. I think there's ways that we can be trained in a school environment, if nothing else, on how to accept that hug without it turning into something. John?
Well, I think that the sad part is that we are raising a generation of people who are going to think that there's something wrong with that type of interaction, whether it's a touch or holding hands or hugging or whatever. And we're training them at such a young age,
right,
that it's going to stick in there forever.
Well,
and it's going to be hard for them to overcome that and realize, hey, it's okay.
Well, isn't this cyclical? Because like what households in the 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever, the men especially, oh no, I don't hug, you're tough love and smack, smack. And then things loosened up and then it was okay for
That was
that.
all of the drugs.
Oh, the drugs, I got you. I knew it was something. But then it came back around where it was okay to give your child a hug, or dads loosened up and they figure it out how to say I love you to their kids without it sounding phony. And now it just seems like John alluded to, and as we're talking about, it sounds like we're going to get back into that cycle where we're telling kids when they become parents, don't touch, no hugging. I love you, but I can't give you that hug that I want to. I realize that in the household, it's very different than on a school ground to do the hug thing. I get that. But if you're being taught now that hugging may not be, or touch may not be okay, and you become a parent 20, 25 years or so down the line, what's in your head? Don't touch, even your own children. And that's a bad thing. That's a bad thing. All right. I know we can keep talking about this, and that would be okay with me, but let's talk about some more highlights about this weekend. Of course, as you said, this weekend it opens up down to Visalia. Is it Visalia or Visalia?
I think it's Visalia.
Oh, what do I know? I'm from the East Coast. So
My aunt lives there.
where in Visalia?
Visalia.
Visalia. Oh, it's a Z. Even though there's an S, it sounds like a Z. Visalia.
No, that's a plant.
That's great. Thanks.
I think that's like Vidalia, the onion.
Gotcha.
All I know is that Mid-Year North is the most south that it can be to still be considered part of the North.
Okay, got it. Got it. And it is all day Saturday, and it looks like registration opens officially Saturday at 7:30. Correct?
It does, and so if you haven't already registered, there's still an opportunity to attend,
Right.
and there are a number of people that are actually going to be going to both conventions. So if you normally only go down to south, but it's really rainy, you can't go backpacking and hiking, come on up to Visalia. Come hang out with us. And, we start off with the Rose Float breakfast, and it's the largest inter-club breakfast for an individual club that I've been to in a really long time. And we get a chance to really talk about what's been going on, talk about and highlight the fundraising for the Rose Float Club. And that just kicks off the day, and it's magical. And we'll accept new members right there on the spot. So bring your checkbook, donate, and we'll accept new members to the Rose Float Club, because that is amazing. And then we kick into the general session. And so before the general session, you'll want to show up around 7:30 in the morning if you haven't registered already. There's some meal tickets, a couple meal tickets still available. And so you'll also get to see some of the vendors. We're one of the few districts that has a midwinter or mid-year that actually has vendors. And some of those vendors will be talking about different ways to do fundraising. And you'll get a chance to go see Herman Platsky, who is our Kiwanis International Children's Fund representative.
If he doesn't bring chocolates with him, I will be very disappointed, because all I see is him on a street corner selling chocolates.
Yeah, he's got a See's Candy connection. Absolutely. And we also have See's Candy representative being there. So she does a great job. I'll bring some the next time I'm there, because I'm going to be picking up a couple cases.
Maritza I don't know if you see Maritza's comment, little challenge out there about Visalia. Bonus points for anyone that can actually find it on a map.
That's me.
John, it's because you lived there. You were there.
No,
Right.
it's actually about halfway between Fresno and Bakersfield.
That's
okay.
on the map.
And Douglas asked, do you have to be a Kiwanian to attend? And so, no, you don't need to be a Kiwanian to attend. You can pay for the registration. Yeah.
It will be if you do.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Because we're going to stare at you and go, come on, fill out the rest of the paperwork.
Maritza would like to know, if you know this, how many are registered so far for Mid-Year North?
I have no clue. So if someone out there knows, I do know. Yeah, I do know that we broke the 250 mark for the interclub lunch.
Nice.
And,
Herman says they found it. They arrived. Thank you, Herman. He's now the only two residents of that town because he landed there. John Brummer, by the way, thank you for your traffic report as you're driving there. Did you see us? I'm on this road. I'm on this road. John Brummer, I'm reporting over the right.
Oh, there's Governor Carol. She says 340-ish.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Governor Carol. Welcome to the show as always. Thank you. 340. That's tremendous. Wonderful.
Woo!
That's wonderful.
Governor Carol, if you want to call in, it would be awesome.
Yeah, 702-992-3207. Governor Carroll, if you'd like to join the conversation, please feel free to do so. It's there on the screen. Unless you're driving. Don't do that. If you're driving, your connection will be bad anyway, as we found out the last time, unfortunately. Okay, so you have the lunch, the breakfast. By the way, I want to remind everybody that another way to help fund for the Rose Float stuff, if you order one of those commercials, the customized Kiwanis commercial that we have done so successfully thus far, we will be giving a $50 donation back to the Kiwanis Rose Float Club to support their cause by supporting our cause of keeping this show on the air, to support their cause because we need to, because we have no more causes left. However, there's a plethora of causes to get involved, one of which is to help support. See, by helping and doing a commercial, you're getting two causes to support. You know, it's like one stone, two birds, right? Keeps this show on the air, as well as us being able to continue to support and help continue to fund the Rose Float. And I'm doing that long enough because John just had to step away from his desk for a moment. This is what is called vamping, ladies and gentlemen. Not that I'm looking to do anything, but I have no producer. So if something screws up, I don't know. He said, Herman says we drove in rain all day yesterday. Oh, so he got there yesterday. He planted the flag yesterday for Herman's there. All right. So have the breakfast. The main
we go into a general session.
Yep.
And so Governor Carroll's going to welcome us, and there's a bunch of fun protocols and things that we go through, which is it just gets you into the Kiwanis spirit, the Kiwanis goodness about what's going on. And then there are breakout sessions, and you get to choose. So if you're a first-time attendee to a mid-year conference, just latch on to somebody and go. There isn't a session that you're not welcome to attend. Even Governor Carroll's meetings, when she meets with the presidents of different clubs, sit by your president, and maybe you might be a president in the future because you'll get inspired by some of the conversation that's happening in that room. The only ones that are not in invitation or require an invitation are the lieutenant governor meetings. And so Governor Carroll will be meeting with her lieutenant governors for the 23-24 year. And Governor-elect Doug Frost will be meeting for the first time with his lieutenant governors for the 24-25 year. And Carol's saying, welcome to the neighborhood, because she lives 15 minutes away from the venue. That's cool.
That's very. Now, one of the things I noticed for that evening is some sort of silent auction fundraiser. What is that about?
Absolutely. We have a gala, and I'm really hoping that people will go on the silent auction because we've already opened the screens. So you can support the CNH Children's Fund. And so that the funding that we raise through the silent auction, there's a live auction with a bunch of fun things, including bourbon tasting with me. I bring multiple bourbons to your home. You get a bourbon decanter, and you can invite as many people as you want to share the multiple bourbons, and we leave them at your house. And that can be in any state.
I'm sorry, one quick question about the decanter. Does it come with the rabbi too?
You know, I'm thinking probably not. I'm thinking you have to invite your own.
Oh, okay. I'm just warming up for bad dad jokes. That's all. I'm just warming up. Is this the same auction? Hang on a second, John. Is this the same auction that my friend Douglas Chadwick emailed me about a certain item that's going to be in the auction?
Yeah, he put it in the chat. The Batmobile Tumbler Hot Wheels.
Oh,
he put it in the chat.
Oh, Douglas, I was trying to keep it a secret, Douglas, because I don't want anybody bidding on it, because I'm going to go out there and bid on it.
And you don't have to be a Kiwanian to bid on any of these things. We have a number of really just fun things, including a case of Monterey wine that is pretty darn spendy. And so we're hoping that someone will bid often and make lots of donations. And if there's nothing that you want to take home, you can actually bid and make a donation on scholarships. And so we've got a button on the Give Smart website that's in the chat that Marissa put in there, that where you can literally donate $100, donate 500, 1,000 towards scholarships for our students, because we're in scholarship season for our Key Club members and our Circle K members.
Was it?
And
This is the same event that I kind of helped host long distance a couple of years ago during the pandemic, right?
yes, and then when we raised the most money we have raised in a long time, we raised over $55,000 during that online process. And so we've got a challenge out there. Thank you very much. You made it happen. We've got a challenge out there that we would love, love, love to raise $75,000 this year. And that's because there are so many deserving students out there that they need the training, they need the scholarships. We have the partner hospitals. We've even got a partner hospital as one of being represented as a keynote speaker. And I'm looking forward to her session on how we can help and work with partner hospitals. There's so much that comes out of this. Every dollar you give goes towards the amazing processes that CNH Foundation does. And so the gala is a luau theme. And I'm not sure if you see it. And I may not have it on my shelf behind me. But we're also doing a coconut raffle.
Oh, I have so many thoughts I could say to that, but I'll just let them all go.
Yeah. Well, part of it is I'm going to just drop a little, do a little drip. I've been challenged to wear a coconut bra and grass skirt during the coconut raffle.
Mm-hmm.
I will be. So you'll want to come see this.
Mm-hmm.
Not making any promises about how good that's going to look. But
that would be
one of the prizes that's guaranteed in there is sponsored by Linda Span out your way.
Yep.
And it's a $500 cash is going to be in one of those coconuts. So we'll have 100 coconuts. You can buy one for $30, two for $50. And when those 100 coconuts are gone, they're gone.
Can we get into that via proxy? John has a comment.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you still accepting donations for the auction?
We are.
Okay.
Absolutely.
How about if we throw in a free 1-minute commercial for any Kiwanis business owner? We'll do a commercial for your business, and they can bid on that. How's that?
That sounds awesome. And so what would you like the minimum bid to be so we can tell people out there?
$1 million.
$75,000.
Yes, 75. No, 75,001 cent.
All right, I will put that in the auction, and we'll get it going. Thank you.
Now to pick the dollar amount, okay?
But I think we need to remind everybody, a Kiwanis business owner, not for a Kiwanis club
or for a business.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
so it needs to be for a business.
Right.
Absolutely.
The business,
correct.
The husband could own it, or the wife,
right.
Or whatever.
But we're not talking about one for clubs. So keep that in mind. This is for businesses only. And once we get a winner, then we will communicate with said winner and make all that happen. Real quickly, besides going online, if I'm reading the information correctly, you can also send a text to Ohana North, correct? OHANA North to 76278. That's 76278. And you'll be able to register for that right from your phone, because obviously you'll get a link back by sending that text. Okay. The auction starts when the dinner starts?
Actually, the auction is live now. It's live now.
And then when does it actually close? At the end of when? What's the closing?
It will close tomorrow night, I believe, at 7:15.
Okay, this way I know it's 7:14. I can pop in and get my tumbler. That's why. Okay, we're gonna step aside for our last break of the show, because when we come back, we already know where Val's gonna be on the road starting in a couple hours. But who knows what else she's got going on? And of course, the award-winning Bad Dad Jokes to close things out. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. At Kiwanis Family House, we build communities and give hope. But when someone is sick, families can be tested in ways they never imagined. Parents have to travel far from home to get their child the complex medical care needed. They may have to miss work and worry about paying the bills, and all the while, trying to keep their family together. That's where Kiwanis Family House comes in. Kiwanis Family House provides a home away from home for families with sick family members receiving treatment at nearby hospitals. Families stay at Kiwanis Family House for as long as they need. This allows them to be close to their sick family member and each other during a stressful time. Every day, Kiwanis Family House witnesses how families are a powerful source of support and healing during difficult times due to illness or trauma. Every day, Kiwanis Family House celebrates the importance of family and the power of love and support.
My name is Edgar Alejandro. Hi, my name is Edgar Alejandro. I'm the co-founder of Rising Again Productions. So we've been here in Vegas producing films for the past couple of years, and we've seen our fair share of studios. We've worked in our fair share of studios, and to be honest, WWDBTV has been our favorite by far. John is so welcoming. The space is wonderful. It's perfect for what we need. We've had rehearsals here. We've had callbacks here. We've had table reads here. So if you're a Vegas creative, or really just a creative coming into Vegas, definitely check out this space, chat with John. I think you'll find that this studio has everything that you'll need as well.
All right, welcome back. Now, I don't want to put the cart after the horse, but once this mid-year is complete, when does registration open for March 23rd?
It is open. We opened it after our last board meeting so that people are ready to go. And you'll want to get your hotel rooms before the block closes. And that's because the largest rave in the Inland Empire is the same weekend.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
What's the best site to go to register now?
So you would go to cnhkiwanis.org and you'll be able to register.
All right, because I'm going to have to look for my cat because it's in Riverside, you said, right?
It's in Riverside.
All right, that's not a bad drive for me, so I'm going to have to look at the calendar and maybe I can make it out for South and enjoy the day with everybody out there and do our show together if we can from out there that Saturday.
That would be great because I'm going to be heading down on Wednesday.
Okay.
And that is because I heard from a little bird that they might need a little help in doing some club boosting.
Okay.
And so I'm going to go down and help boost a couple clubs. Boost basically means growing your club.
That's right.
And we're going to have both our CNH Foundation Children's Fund meeting in the morning on that Friday beforehand. And we'll also have our Board of Trustees meeting led by our amazing governor in the afternoon on Friday. So you'll want to be there early, stay the whole weekend, and have a good time. And if you like to dress up after the gala, go out and join with the rave folks. They have fun.
Well, if I can make it out there, I'm hoping Carol is still watching. I will confirm if I can make it out there. And if you need my MC services of any kind, please feel free to just tap me on the shoulder. I'd love to help wherever I can. All right. With that, I know you've kind of been touching where you're traveling, but we have to start the engine to make it official, don't we? Here we are, Val, on the road.
I love that. So I am packing up the coconuts, and I've got these amazing luau coasters that a friend of mine, Linda, made for me, and we're headed down to Visalia this afternoon. Coconuts in the car already, and we'll be in Visalia until Sunday. And next week is my birthday week.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, happy birthday early week.
Thank you. Closer to 60 than to 55. So, so I'm actually going to be taking it really easy next week. So I have promised myself that I'm going to stay home and not travel. I'm only going to do virtual travel. So I'll be in Lamiston, which is Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, at our E-Club meeting where our international president-elect is going to be our guest speaker. And I'm very excited to see Lee Kuan Yew. I get to be on his convention committee, and I'm so excited to see where he's headed. And then later in the week, hopefully, I will see you again. And we're going to start talking about something that's really near and dear to my heart, which is DEI. And most people, they run for the hills when they hear that acronym because it is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And diversity, when you use it in a sentence, has become a bad word. And I really would like for us to really delve into how diversity, equity, and inclusion and action. So people will put the word action in to the process. And so I used to call it Jedi. And I was told by the Star Wars people that I'd have to pay a premium on Jedi.
Oh,
but
boy.
it used to be justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. And because it's Black History Month, and so many people are saying, I've heard rumor last night when I was over at the AT&T, someone said, I don't know why we still need to celebrate Black people. They're everywhere. And when I heard that, I was just like, that's why. And so we won't be just talking about it being Black History Month, but we'll be talking about how to be more inclusive in your clubs, how to talk about implicit bias. And because if you're a realtor out there, you already are talking about this stuff.
Sure.
Because every realtor has to be trained in this. And I don't know why it's not just trained in high school, because it's so prevalent in what we do. Absolutely. And we'll also be talking about something that's near and dear to our students' hearts, which is an issue that it has really blown up in the past couple months, which is the movement against Asian hate. A number of our students identify in one of the Asian American communities, and many of them are second, third, and fourth generation, and they're not going to stand up for the Asian hate that they're experiencing. And I think that we need to stand behind them and hear from them about what's going on. And so this is going to be a month filled with a lot of different guests, and some of them aren't Kiwanians yet.
No way, but we'll probably become Kiwanians by the end of that show. I'm sure about that.
I think.
Absolutely. So I don't know if you saw it pop up, but Mr. Chadwick has given me a challenge for me to come out there in March, that he's dangling a piece of Batman merchandise if I do make it. But I told him in order for that challenge to be accepted, he needs to learn how to spell my name correctly. So I don't know who he's replying to there, but love you, Douglas. Hey, Fonzie. Good to see you out there, buddy. All right. Shall we end the show the way that we only know how? Because anything's got to be better than the blonde joke that John shared opening the show. He has set the standard low, so I can.
Have more.
No. If I want to fail at jokes, I can do it on my own. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Are you ready, Governor Val? Now, some of these are one-liners. I've got them mixed in with jokes. By the way, I have to ask, is Andy listening? Because if not, I don't know what I can do.
We'll end the show right now.
Is Andy listening? I need confirmation of that.
I don't know.
All right. Well, he can watch it on replay then. Okay. Here we go. First, now, my wife and we recently had a conversation, and I said to her, we should really do some lunges to stay in shape. That would really give us a big step forward. I know. If April shower, this is an old one. I have a funny feeling people get this one. If April showers bring May flowers, what do May flowers bring? Pilgrims. Mayflower.
Furniture.
No,
And
not
Andy says yes, he's here, and he just heard that.
Oh,
I think I heard a groan from the living room.
Do I have to repeat the first one then? Did he hear the first? No,
Just hung up.
he just hung up. All right, great. This one's for Herman. I hope Herman's still listening. Have you heard about the chocolate record player? Sounds pretty sweet. Okay. What? God.
Moving right along.
Moving right along. I'm trying to make sure that I didn't. There was one that I saw that I hope I didn't skip, but let's keep going here. All right. Hey, where do you learn to make a banana split? Sunday school. This one is special for John. I have a joke about construction, but I'm still working on it. I know that one's for John because those who don't know, John has a construction background. So, last but not least, thankfully, thank you very much. Thank you very little. Spiders are so smart; they know everything on the web. Yeah, John, you want to tell your blonde joke again?
No, please don't. Please don't, John.
Just think, at midwinter, at mid-year South, I may do those live in front of people. So, God
I
help.
love it. Maybe someone can submit some to us while we're there.
Yeah, I was going to say I may need security to protect me.
I wanted to do a special shout out. I got a text, and even though there's a lot of people that love attending our mid-years, but they just can't because they're attending other conferences or they're across the world. And Hope Marks, one of my favorite trustees, Hope Marks, was out there texting me, and she sent in a donation to support our children's fund, and she wishes she could be at our mid-year. And so I just want to give you a wraparound hug, Hope, and say thank you for helping our students. So
virtual hug here, little virtual hug.
Hug.
Herman says that they're rolling around laughing. I don't know if it's because he's laughing at joy that they're finished or the chocolate joke. I don't know. But either way, I appreciate the support for that. All right. Unless you got something else, Governor Val, I'm tapped out.
It's like when we start with Elmo, it's really hard to go much further than that.
Oh, my goodness. You know what's interesting? It still shows you how strong Elmo is as a character and how people to this day and age, no matter the age, still can relate to Elmo.
Well, it's all about, Sesame Street. You think about how many generations Sesame Street has touched us. And it's like Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers and one of my absolute all-time fave folks out there. And the lessons we learned from Big Bird. And I can't say I learned to count from Count Dracula, but I loved counting the way Count Dracula counted. One Mississippi, and and those are the kind of things.
You just woke John up. He's going out of bananas. And go ahead, John.
Okay, so
it's your fault, Val. This is
right.
on you.
Someone told me that the Muppets, what they're missing is a vampire, and I told him that they do have a vampire, and they said no, he doesn't count, and I said, I assure you, he does.
Now some more bad dad jokes coming your way.
You think about you think about it, it's the most culturally diverse kind of thing. Even including all the casts that are in the background and all the kids they've always included in the show. And so looking at that number of those, what was it, 200 and
about 205 million.
205 million people connected with the little red guy.
Yep. And if you didn't see Douglas's post, it's on X, formerly Twitter, formerly Y, formerly B, who knows what letters next. All I know is that he, Mr. Musk, wants to put chips in our brains to track everybody. Is something he talked about as well. But check it out. Check that video. I am going to check it out myself later on today to see that message personally and check it out. So thank you for bringing that. Listen, folks, hopefully you've gotten something out of today's show, both obviously about Kiwanis, but hopefully maybe the strength to talk with somebody else about something you may be struggling with, right?
Absolutely. And I hope that I'll get a chance to get a whole lot of hugs this weekend. I'm so ready. I've packed my fuzziest sweater so that people go, gotta touch that. So hope to see you at Midyear tomorrow. And if not tomorrow, hopefully see you at Midyear South in Riverside.
All right, do me a favor. You track the amount of hugs that you get. And seriously, and I'll donate 50 cents per hug, which at 300 people is about $150 if each and every one of them get to you. So I need you to honestly track your hugs, and you let me know, and I'll send in a donation, even if I do manage to win the tumbler. All right, everybody. Those of you going there, please travel safe. Weather is kind of crazy now going on. Please get there safely and return home safely. Thank you for watching. I'm sure next week we'll kind of recap what happened this weekend. And again, as Val said, some great stuff coming up this month. Thank you for watching. I'm Aaron. That's Val. We'll see you next time right here on Kiwanis Connects. Yes, Andy. Thank you. See ya. Bye.